Some stories were never meant to be told, but once heard, they cling to your soul. If you dare to listen, don't come alone. Subscribe before the darkness finds you, and let the blood-soaked tale begin. Bran Castle, hidden in the gloomy mountains of Transylvania, Romania, is a symbol of mystery and horror, closely associated with Vlad the Impaler, the inspiration behind Bram Stoker's Dracula. With its cold stone corridors, mist-shrouded towers, and blood-soaked history of medieval executions, the castle stands at the crossroads of reality and legend. Tales of white figures gliding by, moaning at night, and the eerie feeling of being watched send chills down visitors' spines. Ana Popescu, a young writer from Bucharest, arrives in Bran seeking inspiration for her Dracula novel, accompanied by Mircea, a mysterious castle guide. But when Ana unknowingly touches an ancient book, she awakens a blood curse tied to Vlad, dragging both of them into a supernatural nightmare. Bran Castle is not just a setting, it's a living entity, and it's watching them. Authenticity. History. Bran Castle, built in the 14th century, once served as a military fortress and is linked to Vlad the Impaler, a notorious 15th century warlord known for his brutality. Though not Vlad's primary residence, Bran is connected to the Dracula legend due to its Gothic architecture and remote location. Local legend. The people of Transylvania speak of strange phenomena at Bran: white figures, moaning sounds, and a chilling presence. Some visitors report unusual dreams or the feeling of being watched in the corridors. Supernatural occurrences. Guides at Bran have reported flashlight malfunctions, slamming windows, and footsteps echoing in abandoned towers. Some claim to have seen figures resembling Vlad or his victims. Culture. Romanian culture is rich in tales of strigoi, vampires, with folk rituals meant to ward off evil spirits, enhancing the castle's air of mystery. Episode 1: The Castle Under the Moonlight. Ana Popescu, a 28-year-old writer with her brown hair tied high, stepped off the bus in the town of Bran, about 170 kilometers from Bucharest. The biting cold of the Transylvanian mountains wrapped around her, and the silhouette of Bran Castle loomed. In the distance, like a giant stone fortress engulfed in fog. She carried a notebook filled with notes on Vlad the Impaler, hoping this trip would break her creative block for the Dracula novel. At a small inn in town, she met Mircea, a castle guide in his 30s with piercing blue eyes and a mysterious smile. "You came for Dracula, didn't you?" he asked, with a hint of sarcasm in his voice. Ana nodded, explaining her novel project. Mircea frowned. "Bran Castle isn't just a story. It lives. Don't go in at night." Ana laughed, thinking he was trying to set the spooky mood for tourists. But Mircea's serious gaze sent a shiver down her spine. Mircea agreed to arrange for Ana to stay at the castle after closing hours, on one condition: he would accompany her. "I won't let you go alone," he said in a low voice. "There are things there that don't like strangers." Ana agreed, not really believing his warnings. But as they left the inn, a cold wind blew through, carrying with it a faint whisper, as if the forested mountains were sending a warning. Night fell, and Bran Castle became darker than ever. Its towering stone walls reflected the moonlight, casting dancing shadows along the corridors. Ana and Mircea passed through the main gate, their flashlights cutting through the thick darkness. The air was deathly still, broken only by the wind whistling through stone cracks. Ana took notes on the Gothic architecture, arched vaults, gargoyle statues, and spiral staircases leading up to the tower. "Do you feel that?" Mircea asked in a hushed tone. Ana shook her head, but she couldn't deny the chill crawling down her spine, despite her thick coat. They paused at a narrow hallway where an old painting of Vlad the Impaler hung on the wall. Ana stared at Vlad's piercing eyes, feeling like they were watching her. Suddenly, a faint moan echoed from the tower. Above, "Just the wind," Mircea said, though his voice lacked conviction. Ana turned on her recorder, hoping to capture the castle's sounds for inspiration. But when she checked it, strange static played, mixed with unintelligible whispers. "Mircea, do you hear that?" she asked, her heart racing. He nodded, face pale. "We should go." Mircea led Ana to an old storage room in the lower level, filled with relics and documents from Vlad's era. Dusty wooden shelves overflowed with ancient books, maps, and rusted weapons. Ana found an old leather-bound book with a crescent moon, symbol etched on its cover. "What is this?" she asked, touching the symbol. At that moment, her flashlight flickered, and a cold breeze swept through the room, as if someone had opened a window. Ana turned back, but the window was tightly shut. Near the door, Mircea flinched. He had seen a white figure glide past the hallway. "Did you see anything?" he asked, tense. Ana shook her head, but she heard faint footsteps outside, suddenly stopping. She stepped out, sweeping her light around, but saw no one. "Just my imagination," she told herself, though her hand trembled as she held the book. Mircea shared a local legend. Vlad had performed a blood ritual in the castle to gain immortality, but the price was a cursed soul. "That book might be tied to the ritual," he said, voice shaking. Ana opened the book, its pages inked in red, but the language was too old to comprehend. As she flipped to the last page, a deep growl echoed from within the castle's depths. Back in the storage room, Ana played back the recorder. The static was now clearer, mixed with whispering voices in an unknown tongue. "Mircea, do you understand any of this?" she asked, handing him the headphones. Mircea listened, turning pale. It's ancient Romanian, the language of rituals. They're saying, blood calls to blood. He looked at the book in Ana's hands. "You shouldn't have touched it. Something's wrong." Drawn by curiosity, Ana flipped through the book again, trying to decipher the symbols. A handwritten line appeared. "Vlad's curse lives on in the blood." Suddenly, the room went completely dark. Ana turned on her flashlight, but its beam was weak, like it was being devoured by the darkness. A whisper came right next to her ear. "Ana," she screamed, dropping the book. Mircea pulled her back, his flashlight scanning the room, only to reveal empty shelves. "What did you hear?" Mircea asked, trembling. Ana nodded, heart pounding. "It said my name." They ran into the corridor, but the whispers followed, as if coming from the very walls. Ana and Mircea rushed up a tower, seeking refuge, but the castle's air was growing heavier. Inside the tower, they found a painting hidden behind a tattered curtain. Vlad stood beside a blood-soaked crescent symbol, surrounded by shadowy figures. Ana touched the painting, and the floor trembled slightly, as if the castle were reacting. A fresh drop of blood fell from the ceiling, landing right in front of her. Ana screamed and backed away, but when Mircea checked, the blood had vanished. "This is no game," Mircea said gravely. "The curse is still active. You awakened something when you touched that book." Though frightened, Ana felt an inexplicable pull, as if the castle was calling her. She looked into the painting, noticing Vlad's eyes shifting, following her. "We have to find out more," she said, her voice shaky but resolute. "If the curse is real, I need to know what it is." Mircea held her hand, eyes full of concern. "You don't understand, Ana. This castle doesn't want you to leave." As they exited the tower, a moan rose from deep within the castle, and the crescent symbol on Ana's book began to glow faintly. Ana and Mircea decide to remain in the castle to uncover the secrets of the book and the curse. They discover a hidden passage leading to a crypt where the crescent symbol appears all over the walls. The whispers grow louder, and Ana begins to feel a strange connection to the castle, as if her blood is linked to Vlad's. A shadowy figure resembling Vlad appears in the dark, making them realize that the curse is not just legend. It is alive, and it wants Ana to become part of it. They must now face a terrifying question. Can they break the curse before the castle devours them? Episode 2: The Blood-Soaked Corridor. After a terrifying first night at Bran Castle, Ana Popescu, a young writer, and Mircea, the castle's guide, find themselves entangled in the mystery of the curse beneath Dracula's shadow. The ancient book with the crescent symbol that Ana touched has awakened a supernatural force, turning the castle alive with whispers, shadowy figures, and signs of a blood curse tied to Vlad the Impaler. Determined to uncover the truth, Ana and Mircea discover a hidden corridor leading to a crypt where strange occurrences intensify, blood seeping from the walls, unexplained footsteps, and a figure resembling Vlad. The castle is no longer just a stone fortress. It is a sentient entity watching them, and every step they take pulls them deeper into the curse. Dawn streamed through the shattered windows of Bran Castle, but its dim light couldn't dispel the cold air. Ana sat in the archive room, clutching the ancient book marked with the crescent symbol, her eyes full of resolve, yet shadowed by fear. "We have to figure out what this curse is," she said, her voice slightly trembling. "This book, it's connected to Vlad, and I think it's trying to tell us something." Mircea, standing near the door, checked the dagger in his pocket. "You don't understand, Ana. This castle doesn't like strangers. I've seen things I can't explain." He told her about the time he heard moaning from the tower while working late, and how the lights in the castle would sometimes go out for no reason. Ana shook her head. "If we give up now, I'll never know the truth. And I feel like the castle wants me to stay." Reluctantly, Mircea agreed, but insisted they act before nightfall. "There's a secret corridor the guides don't mention," he said. "It leads to an old crypt where Vlad is rumored to have performed rituals." Ana nodded, gripping the book tighter, feeling the crescent symbol heating beneath her fingers. Ana and Mircea returned to the hallway where they'd seen the white shadow the night before. Mircea tapped on a stone wall, and after several minutes of searching, he found a loose brick. As he pushed it, a sharp click echoed, and part of the wall slid away, revealing a narrow corridor thick with cobwebs. The air inside was freezing, tinged with damp earth, and something foul, like dried blood. Ana raised her flashlight, its beam revealing walls etched with crescent symbols, some stained dark red as if soaked with blood. "This isn't random," she whispered, flipping open the book to compare. The symbols matched perfectly. Mircea walked slowly, dagger in hand. "This corridor isn't on any castle map," he said. "Locals call it the blood-soaked corridor." They ventured deeper, their footsteps echoing down the tight passage. Suddenly, Anna's flashlight flickered, and a low growl sounded from the corridor's end. "Mircea, did you hear that?" she asked, heart pounding. He nodded, but before they could react, a drop of red liquid fell from the ceiling, landing on Anna's shoulder. She screamed and wiped it away, but the substance vanished, leaving only a bone-chilling cold. The corridor led to a spiral stone staircase descending into the crypt. As Ana and Mircea made their way down, they noticed blood-like liquid beginning to seep from the walls in thin streams. Ana pulled out her recorder, hoping to capture the sound, but it only emitted static mixed with a whisper. "Blood calls to blood." She turned to Mircea, her face pale. "It's just like what you heard last night." Mircea tried to record the scene with his phone, but when they played it back, the video showed only darkness, even though the blood was clearly flowing before them. "The castle doesn't want us documenting this," he whispered tensely. Ana touched the wall, and the blood seemed to recoil, as if it were aware of her presence. She stepped back, trembling, and opened the book. One page read, "The blood of the chosen shall awaken the curse, but it is also the key to break it." Suddenly, heavy footsteps echoed from the staircase below. Ana and Mircea froze, flashlights scanning downward. No one was visible. "We're not alone," Mircea said, grabbing Anna's hand and pulling her deeper into the crypt, even as the castle seemed to tighten around them. The crypt emerged into view, a wide chamber lined with stone pillars marked with crescent symbols. At its center sat a dusty altar draped in cobwebs. Atop the altar rested a small iron chest, tightly sealed, engraved with a glowing red crescent. Ana felt an odd pull toward it, as if the chest were calling her. "This might be where Vlad performed the ritual," she said, her voice shaking but thrilled. Mircea, standing guard by the entrance, suddenly flinched. The footsteps had returned, now louder and closer. "Someone's here," he whispered, dagger raised. Ana turned on her recorder, and the whispers intensified. "Descendant, your blood." She looked around but saw only darkness. Mircea's flashlight swept across the crypt, and for a split second, they saw a tall figure in a black cloak standing in the corner. Its glowing red eyes stared directly at them, then vanished. "Ana, we have to go," Mircea shouted, yanking her toward the stairs. But as they ran, the footsteps pursued them, heavier, faster, as if an unseen force were hunting them. The corridor seemed to stretch endlessly, and the blood on the walls flowed more violently, as if trying to engulf them. Ana and Mircea burst out of the secret corridor, back into the castle's main hallway, hearts pounding. But the air remained oppressive, and the whispering would not stop. Ana opened the book and found a handwritten passage. "Vlad's curse lives in the blood of his descendants. Only their blood can unlock the door." She shivered, feeling a strange connection to the castle, like her blood was responding. Mircea checked the exit door, but found it locked, though they didn't remember locking it. "The castle doesn't want us to leave," he said, voice shaking. Ana turned around, and in the shadows of the hallway, the tall figure from the crypt reappeared. This time, it was clear, a man resembling Vlad the Impaler, with a sharp face and glowing red eyes. He raised his hand, and the crescent symbol on Ana's book burst into a bright light. Ana screamed and dropped the book. Mircea pulled her into a small room and slammed the door shut. But the footsteps stopped right outside, and a deep voice rumbled, "Your blood belongs to me." The door trembled, as if something invisible were pushing against it, and Ana felt a sharp sting on her neck, like a needle prick. Trapped in the small room, Ana and Mircea realize Vlad's curse is no mere legend. It is alive, and it's targeting Ana, who may be his descendant. They decide to return to the crypt and unlock the iron chest, hoping to uncover clues about the ancient blood ritual. But as they prepare, Ana discovers a small bite mark on her neck, and disturbing dreams begin to invade her mind, as if Vlad is trying to reach her. A forgotten journal in the crypt reveals that Vlad made a pact with a vampiric entity, and Ana may be the key to either completing or breaking the curse. Bran Castle has become a deadly labyrinth, and with each step, they draw closer to the dark entity waiting within. Episode 3: The Ritual Beneath the Crypt. After escaping the blood-soaked secret corridor, Ana and Mircea realize that Vlad the Impaler's curse is not just legend. It's a living force targeting Ana. The ancient book marked with a crescent symbol and the figure resembling Vlad have driven them into overwhelming terror. Determined to uncover the truth, they return to the crypt beneath the castle, where they discover a stone altar and Vlad's journal revealing a pact with a vampiric entity to gain immortality. Ana begins experiencing disturbing dreams, sensing that her blood is responding to the curse. Bran Castle has become a maze of shadows, and every discovery pulls them closer to a relentless supernatural presence. The atmosphere inside Bran Castle grew more stifling as Ana and Mircea returned to the hidden corridor leading down to the crypt. Their flashlights illuminated stone walls covered with crescent moon symbols, some stained dark, like dried blood. Ana clutched the ancient book tightly, feeling the symbol on its cover heat up beneath her hand. "We have to find the iron chest," she said, voice shaky but resolute. "It might hold the answers." Mircea, dagger in hand, led the way, his eyes alert. "This crypt doesn't exist in the official castle records," he whispered. "Locals say Vlad did unspeakable things down here." They descended the spiral stone stairs, each step echoing as if waking something in the darkness. At the bottom, they found the stone altar, and atop it, a tightly locked iron chest engraved with a crescent. The air was freezing, thick with the scent of death, making Ana shiver. Suddenly, Ana's recorder switched on by itself, emitting a whisper. "Blood of the descendant," she gasped, checking the device, but it hadn't been activated. Mircea gripped her hand, tension in his voice. "We're not alone." Ana knelt before the altar, trying to open the chest, but the lock wouldn't budge. Mircea inspected the surrounding walls and discovered a hidden crevice holding an old leather-bound journal, its cover etched with a crescent moon. "It's handwritten," he said, handing it to Ana. She opened it and read aloud. "June 13th, 1462. I, Vlad Dracula, have entered a pact with the darkness. The entity promises me eternal power, but demands the blood of innocents. I accept for my kingdom." Ana shuddered, realizing the words were written in red ink, possibly blood. The journal continued to describe a ritual within the crypt, where Vlad offered blood to summon the vampire entity. "He sold his soul," she whispered. Mircea shook his head. "And the curse still lives. You woke it when you touched that book." Suddenly, a deep growl rumbled from the depths of the crypt, and their flashlights flickered. Ana felt a sharp sting on her neck, where the small bite mark from the previous night had begun to bleed. "Mircea, something's wrong," she said, clutching her neck. He examined the wound, his face pale. "It's spreading. The curse is targeting you." As Ana and Mircea struggled with the chest, Ana suddenly collapsed, her mind spiraling. A vivid dream seized her. She stood in the crypt, but it was glowing red. Vlad the Impaler stood before the altar, dagger in hand, blood pouring from his neck onto the crescent symbol. "Your blood is mine," he said, eyes burning red, staring into hers. Ana felt the blood in her veins boiling, as if being drawn out. She awoke, gasping, with Mircea shaking her. "Ana, where were you?" he asked, alarmed. She recounted the dream, and Mircea frowned. "Locals say Vlad's descendants can sense him. You might share his bloodline." Ana shook her head in denial, but the sense of connection to the castle grew stronger. She glanced at the chest. It felt as if it were calling to her. The recorder whispered again, this time clearer. "Descendant, open the door." Ana shivered, realizing the curse may have chosen her the moment she touched the book. Mircea used his dagger to pry open the chest lock. With a loud snap, it gave way. Inside were ancient ritual objects, a silver dagger etched with a crescent, a glass vial filled with dark red liquid, and a bloodstained cloth. Ana touched the dagger, and a cold wave rushed through her, as if Vlad's spirit was watching. "These are what he used to summon the entity," she whispered. Mircea examined the vial, catching the metallic scent of blood. "This isn't ordinary blood," he murmured. "It's still fresh." Ana flipped through the journal again, finding a passage detailing the ritual. The chosen's blood must be sacrificed upon the altar to open the door for the darkness. She looked at Mircea, heart pounding. "If I'm the descendant, is my blood the key?" Before Mircea could respond, a sharp hiss echoed around them. The crypt's darkness thickened. A tall, shadowy figure appeared in the corner, its glowing red eyes fixed on them. Ana screamed and dropped the dagger. Mircea pulled her back. The shadow advanced, its form like swirling black smoke, but its face mirrored Vlad's portrait. "Your blood," it growled, a deep voice shaking the walls. Ana felt searing pain in her neck, the bite bleeding more profusely. Mircea raised the ritual dagger and shouted, "Stay away from her." But the shadow only laughed. A dark vapor enveloped him, throwing him against the wall. Ana grabbed the silver dagger, feeling it tremble in her hand. "If you want blood, come take it," she shouted. But before she could strike, the shadow vanished, leaving only its echoing laughter. The crypt shook, and the crescent symbols on the walls lit up blood red. Ana and Mircea ran up the stairs, hearts pounding, heavy footsteps pursuing them from the darkness. They burst into the main hallway, but the book in Ana's hand glowed, and a new line appeared. The blood of the descendant shall unlock or destroy the curse. Ana looked at Mircea, fear in her eyes. I'm the key, but the key to what? Shaken from their encounter with the vampire entity, Ana and Mircea realize Ana may be Vlad's descendant, making her the central target of the curse. Vlad's journal reveals that her blood is the key to either completing or breaking the pact. With the entity, they decide to investigate Ana's lineage, returning to the archive to dig through family records. But as they search deeper, Ana discovers a new bite on her neck, and her dreams of Vlad grow more vivid, as if he's trying to control her. A sealed room mentioned in the journal becomes their next destination, but the vampire entity awaits, ready to make Ana its final victim in the blood curse. Episode 4: The Cursed Bloodline. After the horrifying encounter with the vampire entity in the crypt, Ana and Mircea come to the terrifying realization that Ana may be a descendant of Vlad the Impaler, making her the key to either completing or breaking the blood curse. The ancient book with the crescent symbol and Vlad's journal reveal that the blood of a descendant is necessary to summon the vampire entity, a pact Vlad made in the 15th century. Determined to break the curse, Ana and Mircea discover a sealed room in the castle containing paintings and documents about the blood ritual. But when Mircea starts hearing whispers and acting strangely, Ana realizes the entity is manipulating him, turning her only ally into a threat. Bran Castle becomes a deadly labyrinth where every step may be their last. Ana and Mircea return to the archive room in Bran Castle, where dim candlelight flickers across the dusty bookshelves. Ana opens her notebook, recording everything they found in the crypt, but her mind is haunted by dreams of Vlad and the bite on her neck, now swollen and red. If I really am Vlad's descendant, the curse is targeting me, she says, her voice trembling. But why me? Mircea, rummaging through old documents, finds a genealogy book from the 15th century, filled with names linked to Vlad. After several minutes, he points to a page. Popescu, your ancestors are connected to the Dracula family through a distant branch. Ana shivers, feeling the castle close in around her. So my blood is the key? Mircea nods, worry in his eyes. The journal says the descendant's blood can open the door for the entity, but it can also destroy it. Suddenly, a deep hiss echoes from the hallway, and the candle flames flicker. Ana feels a sharp pain at the bite on her neck, as if something is draining her blood. Mircea grabs her hand, voice tense. We have to find the sealed room mentioned in the journal. It might hold the answers. Mircea leads Ana through a narrow hallway on the upper level of the castle, where a wooden door engraved with a crescent symbol is tightly locked. He pries the lock open with his dagger. With a loud crack, the door creaks open, revealing a small room filled with dusty paintings on the walls. The images show Vlad standing beside an altar, blood pouring from his hands onto the crescent symbol, surrounded by ghostly figures with glowing red eyes. Ana steps in, immediately chilled. This is where the ritual happened. she whispers, touching one of the paintings. At that moment, the wall trembles and fresh blood drips from the frame onto the floor. Ana backs away, heart pounding. Mircea, do you see this? But when she turns, Mircea stands motionless, his eyes glazed over, as if listening to something. She turns on the recorder and whispers echo in the room. Blood of the chosen one. Ana looks at Mircea and realizes he's murmuring, in sync with the whispers. Mircea, snap out of it, she shouts, shaking his shoulder. He shoves her away, his voice deep and unfamiliar. It's calling me. Mircea begins acting strangely, walking as if possessed, running his hands along the walls as if searching for something. Mircea, what's happening? Ana asks, her voice trembling. He turns, and for a split second, his eyes flash red. It says your blood will open the door, he mutters, his voice no longer his own. Ana backs away, clutching the ancient book, feeling the crescent symbol heating up. She flips through Vlad's journal and finds a passage. The entity manipulates those near the descendant, turning them into its tools. Ana shudders, realizing Mircea is being influenced. Mircea, fight it, she yells. But he steps forward, gripping the dagger tightly. Your blood. It needs your blood, he says, voice distorted with the growl of the entity. Ana runs to the corner of the room and finds a small wooden box marked with a crescent. She opens it and finds a silver ring with a red gemstone, possibly once Vlad's. As she touches it, a flash of white light bursts forth, knocking Mircea back and breaking the trance. Ana, I can't control it, he whispers, holding his head. Though trying to resist, Mircea falls under the entity's influence again. He charges at Ana with the dagger raised. She dodges, dropping the book. Mircea, you're not it, she screams. But he doesn't stop, his eyes glowing red. Ana flees the sealed room and slams the wooden door shut, locking Mircea inside. She hears him pounding on the door, screaming in a voice not his own. Your blood belongs to me. Ana races down the corridor, heart pounding, but heavy footsteps pursue her, even though Mircea remains locked away. She turns and sees a tall figure, resembling Vlad, standing at the end of the hallway, eyes glowing red. Descendant, your blood. It growls, then vanishes. Ana collapses to her knees, realizing the entity is not just controlling Mircea, it's hunting her. She returns to the sealed room and hears silence. She opens the door to find Mircea unconscious on the floor, dagger beside him. Ana drags him out, but the bite on her neck bleeds more violently, like the entity is feeding on her. Life force. Ana and Mircea, now conscious but weakened, sit in the main hallway trying to comprehend what's happening. Ana reopens Vlad's journal and finds a final passage. The vampire entity will live forever in the blood of the descendant. Only their blood, sacrificed upon the altar, can seal or release it. She turns to Mircea, voice trembling. If my blood is the key, what do I do? Sacrifice myself. Mircea shakes his head, eyes full of concern. We have to find a way to break the curse without losing you. But even as he speaks, his eyes flicker red again, and Ana realizes the entity is still lurking within him. She touches the silver ring and feels it vibrating, holding a fragment of power to resist the entity. Suddenly, the castle shakes, and blood begins pouring from the walls, forming crescent symbols on the floor. Ana feels a sharp pain in her neck, And the dream returns, stronger. Vlad stands before her, smiling coldly. Your blood will complete the pact. Ana screams and wakes, finding Mircea staring at her, his gaze torn between man and monster. Realizing the vampire entity is growing stronger, Ana and Mircea decide to perform an old folk ritual to protect Ana and block the entity's control over Mircea. They find a document in the sealed room detailing a Strigoi banishing ritual requiring Ana's blood and a relic of Vlad, the silver ring. But as they prepare, Ana begins to feel the entity invading her mind, and Mircea, though resisting, is falling deeper under its control. A vampire figure appears, summoning the spirits of Vlad's victims, drawing them into a battle for survival in the shadowed halls of Bran Castle. Will they complete the ritual before Ana's blood becomes the key that unleashes the entity? Episode 5: Oath Under the Moonlight. After discovering Ana is a descendant of Vlad the Impaler, she and Mircea confront the increasingly powerful vampire entity within Bran Castle. The entity manipulates Mircea, turning him into a threat, while the bite on Ana's neck intensifies. Her terrifying connection to Vlad. Upon finding a document detailing a Romanian folk ritual to repel a Strigoi vampire, they decide to use Ana's blood and Vlad's silver ring for protection. But when the entity summons the souls of Vlad's victims, the castle transforms into a supernatural battlefield. Mircea is wounded trying to protect Ana, and she realizes the curse doesn't just crave her blood, it wants her soul. Bran Castle has become a labyrinth of darkness, and every second draws them closer to the edge between life and death. Ana and Mircea return to the castle's archive room, where candlelight flickers over dusty shelves. Ana reopens the ancient document found in the sealed room, describing a folk ritual to repel Strigoi. We need my blood, the silver ring, and an ancient incantation, she says, voice trembling but determined. She slips the ring onto her finger, feeling it pulse slightly, as if holding power against the entity. Mircea, still showing signs of possession, his eyes occasionally glowing. Red nods. The people of Transylvania used this ritual to protect families from vampires, he says weakly. But if it fails, the entity will grow stronger. He hands Ana a small knife. You have to cut yourself. The blood must be voluntary. Ana forms a circle of candles on the floor, placing the silver ring in the center. She cuts her hand, letting the blood drip onto the ring, and begins chanting from the scroll. By the blood of the chosen, I cast away the darkness. But as she recites, the air turns icy cold, and a deep hiss echoes from the walls. As Ana finishes the incantation, the candlelight dims, and ghostly figures appear around the room, Vlad's victims. Their faces are distorted, eyes milky white, mouths emitting agonizing moans. One man in tattered clothes steps forward and whispers, "Descendant, your blood makes us suffer." Ana shudders, realizing the ritual is awakening the souls of those Vlad murdered. Mircea grips his dagger and steps in front of Ana to protect her. They don't want us to finish the ritual, he says, tense. A female spirit, blood pouring from her neck, points at Ana. Your blood belongs to him. She hisses, and the spirits begin moving toward the candle circle. Ana continues the chant, but the bite on her neck pulses, bleeding as if summoned by the spirits. Suddenly, Ana's recorder switches on, screaming with dozens of tortured voices. Mircea checks it, face pale. They're under the entity's control. This ritual, it might be making things worse. The air thickens as if the castle is closing in. The spirits scream louder, and black smoke rises from the floor, forming the shape of the vampire entity, tall, with glowing red eyes and a twisted grin. Your blood will complete the pact. It growls, voice shaking the walls. Ana feels herself weakening, as though the entity is draining her through the bite. Mircea charges, slashing at the smoke with his dagger, but the blade passes through harmlessly. The entity laughs, and a cold gust knocks Mircea into a bookshelf, toppling candles. Ana screams, trying to finish the spell, but the spirits close in, arms outstretched to drag her down. "Stop!" she yells, gripping the silver ring. A burst of white light flares out, momentarily repelling the spirits. But the entity doesn't stop. It turns to Mircea, and his eyes flash red again. "Ana, run," he whispers, though his voice is laced with the entity's growl. Ana realizes the ritual has failed, and the entity is stronger than ever. Mircea, still trying to fight the possession, lunges at Ana, dagger raised. "I can't control it," he screams, voice torn with agony. Ana dodges and flees the archive room, but Mircea follows, unnaturally fast. She sprints up the stairs, to the watchtower, heart racing with every echoing step that eye in the tower. Ana hides behind an old curtain, clutching the silver ring. Mircea enters, his eyes flickering between human and monstrous. "Ana, I don't want to hurt you," he whispers, though his hand still grips the blade. Suddenly, a victim's spirit rushes at Mircea, knocking him down. He screams, slashing at the ghost, which vanishes, leaving a deep wound across his chest. Ana rushes to him, holding his body. "You have to finish the ritual," he says, blood seeping from his wound. "Use the ring, it has power." Ana, tears streaming, shakes her head. "I can't lose you." But Mircea smiles faintly. "You're the descendant. Only you can do this." Ana drags Mircea down to the main hallway, but the castle trembles, and the walls begin bleeding, forming crescent symbols across the floor. The screams of the dead mix with the entity's roar. Ana opens the ancient book, finding a note about the ring. Vlad's ring holds power to suppress the darkness, but only the blood of the descendant can activate it. She wears the ring and cuts her hand again, letting blood drip onto the red gemstone. A burst of white light repels the spirits, but the entity appears before her, eyes glowing. "Your blood is mine," it growls, and Ana feels her body being pulled into the darkness. Mircea, wounded, grabs her hand and whispers, "Don't let it win." They run toward the castle gate, but it's locked tight. Ana turns to see the entity's silhouette at the end of the corridor, smiling coldly. She grips the ring, feeling it burn with energy. "We have to go back to the tower," she says, voice trembling. "That's where the ritual began." With Mircea badly wounded, Ana and he return to the tower to find Vlad's original ritual chamber, where the silver ring can be used to activate the power against the entity. Vlad's journal reveals that his vampire heart, sealed in a hidden crypt, is the true source of the curse. Ana, knowing her blood is the key, must make a choice: use the ring and her blood to destroy the heart, or become the entity's final victim. But as they climb the tower, Mircea grows weaker, and the victims' spirits return, dragging them into a battle for survival. Can Ana unlock the ring's power before the entity fulfills Vlad's pact? Episode 6: The Tower of Fate. After the failed folk ritual, Ana and Mircea face an increasingly powerful vampire entity. Mircea is gravely injured, and Ana feels a deepening, terrifying connection to Vlad the Impaler through the bite on her neck and haunting dreams. Vlad's journal reveals that his vampire heart, sealed in a hidden crypt, is the source of the curse. Determined to destroy it, they climb the tower where Vlad once performed the blood ritual. But when Ana is briefly manipulated by the entity and attacked by the souls of Vlad's victims, they realize Bran Castle is not merely home to the entity, it is part of it. Every step toward the vampire heart is also a step closer to death. The air inside Bran Castle is heavier than ever as Ana supports a weakening Mircea, bleeding from a wound in his chest. Moonlight pours through shattered windows, casting long shadows on stone walls etched with crescent symbols. Ana clutches Vlad's silver ring, feeling it pulse, as if guiding her. The journal says the vampire heart is in the tower, she says, voice shaky but resolute. We have to find it. Mircea, gasping for breath, nods. The tower is where Vlad performed the final ritual. But Ana, if you are his descendant, the entity won't let you touch the heart easily. They ascend a narrow spiral staircase, each step echoing like it's awakening something in the dark. The air is ice cold, thick with the scent of dried blood, and faint whispers seep from the walls. Blood descendant. At the top, a wooden door engraved with a crescent appears. Ana touches it, and pain flares at the bite on her neck, blood trickling down. Mircea, his eyes filled with concern, takes her hand. You feel it, don't you? The entity is here. The door opens to a small chamber with a stone altar in the center, carved with crescent symbols. On it sits a shattered glass vial, stained with dried, dark red liquid. Ana feels a strange pull, as if the altar is calling to her. This is where Vlad made the pact, she whispers, opening the journal. One entry reads, "The vampire heart is sealed beneath the altar, but only the blood of the descendant can open it." Suddenly, Ana collapses, clutching her head. A vivid dream overtakes her. She stands in the same room, Vlad beside her, plunging a dagger into his chest, blood flowing onto the stone. "You will complete the pact," he says, eyes burning red. Ana wakes, gasping, with Mircea shaking her. "You were speaking Old Romanian," he says, panicked. She looks down and finds herself gripping the ritual dagger from the crypt, pointed at Mircea. "I couldn't control it," she whispers, dropping the blade. Blood seeps faster from her neck. She realizes the entity is trying to possess her, just as it once did to Mircea. Despite his injuries, Mircea inspects the altar and finds a hidden crevice. Inside is an old scroll wrapped in leather. Ana unrolls it and reads aloud. Vlad's vampire heart, sealed with his blood, is the source of the curse. Only the blood of the descendant, combined with the silver ring, can destroy it. She looks at the ring on her hand. It's burning hot. Mircea points to a crescent symbol on the floor, leading to a large stone slab. The heart might be beneath it, he says. As he touches the slab, a deep growl echoes, and the walls tremble. Ana puts on the ring, cuts her hand, and lets blood drip onto the symbol, hoping to unlock the slab. But instead of opening, the room goes dark and black smoke rises from the floor, forming the shape of the vampire entity. "You will not destroy me," it growls, eyes blazing red as it stares at Ana. Mircea raises the dagger, but the smoke engulfs him, and he collapses, his wound bleeding heavily. The souls of Vlad's victims materialize, encircling the chamber. Their twisted faces writhe in pain. "Descendant, your blood," they moan, reaching out to pull Ana down. She clutches the silver ring and begins chanting the incantation. From the scroll, desperate to hold off the entity, that a flash of white light erupts from the ring, forcing the spirits back temporarily. But the entity advances, smiling coldly. Mircea, barely standing, charges the entity and slashes through the smoke. "Ana, keep going," he shouts. But the dark mist tightens around him, and one of the spirits drives its hand into his wound. He screams in agony. Ana cries out, "Mircea!" She runs to help, but the entity blocks her, its voice echoing in her mind. "Your blood is mine." In panic, Ana plunges the ritual dagger into the stone slab. Her blood flows over the crescent symbol. The slab quakes and splits, revealing a small iron box engraved with a crescent. But before she can open it, the entity roars, and Mircea collapses, unconscious. Ana kneels beside Mircea, checking his faint pulse. She opens the iron box and finds a withered, dark red heart inside, still faintly pulsing. "This is the vampire heart," she whispers, gripping the silver ring. The scroll says the descendants. Blood and the ring will destroy it, but the cost may be her life. The entity towers before her, massive and burning red. "You will not destroy me," it snarls. The victim's spirits scream and charge at her. Ana clutches the ring, cuts deeper into her hand, and lets her blood pour onto the heart. That a burst of white light blinds the room. The entity howls, but Ana weakens, her life force draining. Mircea awakens and pulls Ana from the ring of spirits. "You can't die," he shouts. Ana shakes her head. "If I don't do this, the entity will take us both." They flee the tower, the vampire heart in Ana's hands, while the castle trembles and the entity roars, calling upon its final strength. Ana and Mircea, carrying the vampire heart, learn that destroying it requires Ana's blood to be spilled on the main altar in the hidden crypt where Vlad made his pact. But the weakened entity summons a supernatural version of Vlad himself. To stop them, Mircea, gravely wounded, is determined to protect Ana, but she begins to feel her blood being manipulated, as though Vlad is living inside her. They face a dire choice: sacrifice Ana to destroy the heart, or let the entity fulfill Vlad's curse. Bran Castle becomes a supernatural war zone, and time is running out. Episode 7: Blood Oath. After discovering Vlad the Impaler's vampire heart in the watchtower, Ana and a severely wounded Mircea realize that to break the curse, they must complete the final ritual at the hidden crypt, where Vlad made the pact with the vampire entity. Vlad's journal reveals that the blood of the descendant, Ana, is the key to destroying the heart, though the price may be her life. Though weakened, the entity summons a supernatural version of Vlad to stop them, and Mircea, still partially controlled, becomes a threat. Bran Castle turns into a supernatural battlefield where the victims of Vlad and the vampire entity push Ana to the edge between life and death. With every passing second, the curse tightens its grip, and Ana must decide whether she's willing to sacrifice everything to end the nightmare. Ana supports the gasping Mircea, bleeding from his chest wound, as they return to the secret passageway leading to the hidden crypt beneath Bran Castle. The vampire heart, enclosed in an iron box carved with a crescent symbol, pulses faintly. In Ana's hand, as if still alive. "We have to destroy it on the altar," she says, voice shaking, gripping Vlad's silver ring. The bite on her neck burns sharply, blood seeping out, as though the entity is trying to drag her into darkness. Mircea, his gaze flickering between human and possessed, nods. "The journal says your blood must be sacrificed on the main altar," he whispers, his voice tinged with an unnatural hiss. The crypt reveals itself ahead, its stone altar marked with the crescent, walls oozing deep crimson. The air is thick with death, and whispers echo, "Descendant, your blood." Ana places the heart on the altar, but as she touches the crescent symbol, the castle trembles, and a deep growl rises from the shadows. Mircea grips his dagger, eyes flashing red. "It's coming," he says, but the voice is no longer his. A cloud of black smoke rises from the altar, coalescing into a tall figure. Vlad the Impaler's supernatural form, his face cold, eyes glowing red, and a black cloak flowing like living shadow. "Your blood will complete the pact," he growls, voice shaking the crypt. Ana feels her bite wound ignite, as if her blood is being drawn out. Mircea charges, slashing with his dagger, but it passes through Vlad like mist. Vlad laughs coldly and waves a hand. A blast of black wind hurls Mircea against the wall, his wound bleeding more heavily. "Mircea!" Ana cries, rushing to him, but Vlad blocks her path, red eyes boring into her mind. "You are mine," he hisses. Ana feels her body freeze, hand rising involuntarily to grasp the vampire heart. She struggles, clutching the silver ring, and a white flash erupts, forcing Vlad back. "I'm not yours," she shouts, but her voice weakens and blood streams from her neck. Despite his wounds, Mircea stands and attacks again, daggers slashing through the dark mist. "Ana, perform the ritual," he cries in pain. Trembling, Ana opens the journal to the final passage, the blood of the descendant sacrificed upon. "The altar shall destroy the vampire heart, but the cost is the soul of the one who bleeds." She looks at Mircea, tears streaming. "I won't let you die." Mircea, his eyes human again, smiles faintly. "You must live, Ana. Break the curse." Suddenly, he slashes his own hand, letting blood drip onto the altar. He shouts a folk incantation he once heard from his grandmother. A white light erupts, forcing Vlad backward, but the black mist coils around Mircea, dragging him down. "No!" Ana screams, reaching for him, but Mircea gestures for her to continue. Vlad roars as the victim's spirits appear, their distorted faces shrieking, "Descendant, your blood." Ana realizes Mircea's blood only weakened Vlad temporarily. Hers is the true key. Ana kneels before the altar, clutching the silver ring and the vampire heart. She slices her hand deeper, letting blood flow over the heart, and recites the spell from the journal. "By the blood of the descendant, I shatter the curse." The heart trembles violently, glowing red, and Vlad howls as his form begins to break apart. But Ana feels herself weakening, as though her blood is being drained completely. The spirits surround her, but now they no longer attack. A blood-soaked woman whispers, "Descendant, free us." Though faint, Ana continues the incantation. The silver ring glows hot, absorbing the heart's power. Vlad lunges toward her, but the ring's light pushes him back. The crypt quakes violently. Ana collapses, her blood seeping into the altar. The vampire heart cracks, emitting a horrifying shriek, but Vlad still clings to form. "You cannot destroy me," he roars, and black mist engulfs Ana, pulling her into shadow. Mircea, using the last of his strength, pulls Ana from the darkness. "You must finish it," he yells, blood at his lips. Barely conscious, Ana grips the silver ring and stabs it into the vampire heart. A massive burst of white light erupts, engulfing Vlad and the shrieking spirits. The crypt shudders. Stones fall from above. Ana grabs Mircea and they run, the heart still pulsing in her hand. They reach the main hallway as the castle quakes, furious and alive. Ana looks down. The heart has stopped pulsating, but a voice whispers in her mind. The curse is not yet broken. Mircea, nearly unconscious, grabs her hand. "You did it, but we must leave." As they flee toward the main gate, Ana's bite still burns, and the silver ring glows faintly, as if warning that the entity remains. She looks back toward the crypt, where shadows still swirl. Ana and Mircea, carrying the cracked vampire heart, escape the crypt, only to realize the ritual is incomplete. Ana's blood weakened the entity but didn't destroy it. Vlad's journal reveals the final ritual must be performed at the original altar where the heart was first sealed, demanding a full sacrifice of the descendant's blood. Mircea, on the brink of death, insists on protecting Ana, but she knows the curse will only end if she's willing to give everything. As they prepare for the final ceremony, a resurrected, more powerful version of Vlad appears, pulling them into the last battle in the shadow of Bran Castle. Can Ana destroy the heart before the entity consumes her soul? Episode 8: Dawn Beneath the Curse. After weakening the vampire entity with Ana's blood, she and the severely wounded Mircea realize the ritual to destroy Vlad the Impaler's vampire heart remains incomplete. Vlad's journal reveals that the final rite must take place at the main altar in the crypt where the pact was made, and demands the full sacrifice of the descendant's blood, Ana's. The entity, having summoned a supernatural version of Vlad, is determined to stop them, while Bran Castle trembles like a beast trying to devour them. Ana must make a painful choice: sacrifice herself to break the curse, or allow the entity to complete the pact and plunge the world into darkness. An open ending leaves the question: was the curse truly broken, or only temporarily sealed, destined to haunt Ana and Mircea forever? Dawn breaks over Bran Castle, but its light cannot pierce the dense fog clinging to the fortress. Ana helps Mircea, barely conscious from his wounds, back down to the secret crypt. The vampire heart, cracked but still faintly pulsating in its iron box, emits a dim red glow. Ana grips Vlad's silver ring, now burning hot, as though waiting for her blood. "This is our last chance," she whispers, trembling. "The journal says my blood must be fully sacrificed on the altar." Mircea, blood soaking his shirt, shakes his head. "You can't die, Ana. There has to be another way." But she gives him a sorrowful smile, opening the journal. "By the blood of the descendant, the heart shall be destroyed, but the soul of the one who sacrifices shall belong to the darkness." The crypt trembles, and whispers echo from the stone walls. "Descendant, your blood," Ana places the heart on the central altar carved with a crescent and prepares for the ritual. Suddenly, a low growl sounds, and black smoke rises from the floor, as if the castle itself is breathing. Mircea draws his dagger, eyes tense. It knows where. Here. The black smoke condenses into the supernatural figure of Vlad the Impaler. Tall, cloaked in shadow, eyes glowing like embers. "You cannot destroy me," he growls, his voice shaking the crypt. Ana's neck burns at the bite, blood running freely, as if Vlad is drinking her life. She clutches the silver ring and begins chanting from the journal. "By the blood of the descendant, I destroy the darkness." Vlad lunges, hand outstretched to crush Ana. Mircea, summoning his last strength, intercepts him, slashing at the smoke, but the blade has no effect. "Ana, do it now," he shouts as the black mist swallows him. Ana slices her hand, blood dripping onto the vampire heart. A burst of white light flares from the ring, pushing Vlad back. But she feels herself weakening, her life being drained into the heart. The spirits of Vlad's victims appear, circling the altar with distorted faces and howling. "Descendant, free us." Despite exhaustion, Ana continues the chant, but Vlad sneers. "Your blood only strengthens me." He hisses, and the castle quakes more violently. Near collapse, Ana stabs the silver ring into the vampire heart. Her blood soaks into it. The heart shakes violently, splits apart, and explodes in a blinding burst of white light. Vlad screams as he is consumed. The spirits wail one last time and vanish, finally released. The crypt stops trembling. Silence falls, but Ana collapses, bleeding from her neck and hand, her body cold. Mircea, barely alive, crawls to her and pulls her away from the altar. "Ana, you did it," he whispers, but his voice is lined with fear. She opens her eyes and sees the vampire heart reduced to ash, but the silver ring still glows, as if retaining part of the entity's power. I don't think it's over," she murmurs, a faint voice in her mind whispering. "The curse lives on." Mircea checks the bite mark, no longer bleeding, but glowing faint red. "We have to leave," he says, lifting her to her feet. As they exit the crypt, a hiss echoes from the darkness behind them, as if the entity still lingers. Ana and Mircea, exhausted, stagger toward Bran Castle's front gate. The morning light cuts through the mist, casting faint rays across the crescent-marked stone walls. now faded. The whispers and growls have stopped, but the air remains heavy, as if the castle is watching. Ana clutches Vlad's journal, unwilling to leave it behind despite the remnants of the curse it may carry. Mircea, his shirt soaked in blood, glances back at the castle. "You destroyed the heart, but I still feel it," he says, trembling. Ana nods, sensing the silver ring still vibrating softly. "So do I," she whispers. They board a bus leaving Bran behind, but Ana cannot shake the feeling that something is following her as the bus winds through the Carpathians. Ana looks out the window, watching the castle disappear into the mist. But in the rearview mirror, she sees a tall figure, like Vlad, standing on the road, red eyes glowing. She blinks. He's gone. Back in Bucharest, Ana sits alone in her small apartment, recording the experience in a journal. Mircea, recovering in the hospital, calls her with a worried tone. "Have you noticed anything strange?" he asks. Ana says no, but after the call, she glances at the mirror, and for a brief second, the bite mark on her neck glows red. She flinches, but it fades. She opens Vlad's journal and finds a new page, one that hadn't been there before. In red ink, a single line, "The curse lives in the blood." Ana slams the book shut, heart pounding. Outside her window, the wind howls, and in the sound, she swears she hears faint whispers like those from Bran Castle, though she's hundreds of miles away. She wonders if the ritual truly destroyed the entity or merely sealed it. The silver ring, now in her pocket, pulses slightly under her touch. She writes the final line in her notebook. Did Vlad's curse really end, or have I become part of it? Ana tries to return to a normal life in Bucharest, but nightmares of Vlad and Bran Castle haunt her. One day, she receives a package, no name, no return address. Inside, a piece of aged cloth bearing the crescent symbol identical to those in the castle. The whispers return in her mind, and the silver ring glows faintly. Was the vampire entity truly destroyed, or has it found a new vessel in Ana? Vlad's journal, though locked away, seems to call to her. And most chilling of all, can Ana ever escape the curse, or has she become its new bearer? These questions remain unanswered, waiting in the eternal shadows of Transylvania. The story ends, but the curse may not. Some nightmares don't die, they wait. If you felt the darkness breathing, let us know. Like, comment, and stay with us. Subscribe before your blood forgets.